Ali ibn Mahziyar, whose story I am sure you've heard from these esteemed scholars and others. May Allah bless them and prolong their lives. A man who goes to Hajj for 10 years shows what eagerness is like. This is what happens when you're eager. This is what happens when you're in love. Have you never been in love? When you're in love, the only thing that occupies your mind is the beloved. 24/7 there is an obsession about the beloved. You can never get them out of your mind. Ali ibn Mahziyar goes to Hajj in order to meet the Imam once and twice and thrice and 10 times. Allahu Akbar. Until he says to himself, he doesn't give up on seeing the Imam. He doesn't blame the Imam for blocking access to him. There's a reason why these people became who they are. Do you know what he says? He says, I am not worthy of seeing him. If I were, by now he would have allowed me some access. He would have let me see him, even if it were just once. And so that year he tells the caravan, it doesn't look like I'll be joining you this time. Go on your own. He goes to bed. In his dream, he sees someone who comes to him and says, come, Ya Ali ibn Mahziyar, come, go to Hajj. You will get what you have sought this time around. So he wakes up in the morning, he asks about the caravan. He's told that the caravan has already left the city. Runs after the caravan until he reaches them, and he says, I've changed my mind, I wish to come along with you. It looks like finally after 10 years of hard toil and struggle, I'll be able to receive that most prized of all possessions. He goes along with them. Long story short, it's a beautiful, very nuanced and detailed story with many, many lessons. But this is the short version. He goes along with them, arrives in Mecca. As he's doing tawaf, he says, a young man approached me. He said to me, you are Ali ibn Mahziyar. Come, I have the one you are seeking. So he takes me, we exit the city of Mecca. We cross valleys and mountain ranges until we get to this cliff. He says to me, you see the top of that cliff? I looked at it, there was a tent. And from that tent, there was a bright beam of light. He said to me, that is your destination. This is where you need to go to. He says, I went up, I asked permission, I entered. Now imagine the state of mind that Ali ibn Mahziyar is. Imagine the eagerness. Imagine that shawq, that love which drove him from his town and city to Hajj 11 times in order to meet his master. What is going through his mind, I have no idea. Only a true lover will understand what another lover is going through. He says, I entered. I saw the Imam sitting on the floor with his finger, his index finger in the sand. As soon as he saw me, he said, Ya Abul Hasan, Ya Ali ibn Mahziyar, Inna kunna nantadhiruka sabahan wa masa'a. I have been waiting for you day and night. 11 years, where have you been? He says to him, Ya ibn Rasulullah, I didn't have access to you. No one was there to guide me to you. He said, no one was there to guide you? He said to him, no, that's not it. Ya Ali ibn Mahziyar, you were occupied with money and wealth and living your life. That's what blocked your access to us. I've been waiting for you. Where have you been? The Imam says to Al-Shaykh al-Mufid in his letter to him, and he says in other letters, the letters of the Imam must be read, brothers and sisters. Look them up online. Try and read them. Try and make out whatever you can from them. There are some messages embedded deeply in those letters which are great lessons in and of themselves. In one of those letters, the Imam says, that had it not been for the sins committed by our followers, لَتَعَجَّلَ لَهُمُ الْيُمْنُ بِلِقَائِنَا. Had it not been for those sins, you would have been able to see us, you would have been able to meet us. But it's those sins that create barriers, it's those sins that put up curtains, and you can't see the beauty that is the Imam of your time, the representative, the vicegerent of God Almighty on earth. It's these sins that don't let you open your heart and open your eyes. Though at the same time, the Imam, you know what he says? He says, إِنَّا لَسْنَا نَاسِينَ لِذِكْرِكُمْ وَلَا مُهْمِلِينَ لِمُرَاعَاتِكُمْ. Don't think that we have forgotten about you. Don't think that we have abandoned you. Don't think that we have forsaken our followers. We are always thinking of you. We're always looking after you, adjusting your path in ways that you don't even know. You're not even paying any attention to this. But we adjust your paths. We make changes to your lives so as to avoid major obstacles, so as to avoid falling into the traps of shaitan. And the more you think of the Imam, the more you try and connect with him, the more you pay sadaqah on his behalf, the more you try and reach out, the more the Imam looks after you as well. That connection needs to be established first.